Blatherrhea, hi! It's we're back for another one. Hi, I'm John Caparulo.
I'm Brian Shinanigan. Hi.
Good, fantastic. We are here. It's the 3rd of July, 2023. We got the Independence Day tomorrow. We're actually doing a show tomorrow for 4th of July at the Kimmel Club because of scheduling error. Because
the fireworks are at 9 o'clock. And
our show is at 9:30. So I'm sure everybody will be like, "All right, that was the finale. Now let's go laugh." And it's possible we could get some people who
we could get a bump
who don't care that much. Well, but people don't care that much about
fireworks.
It was just like I know I don't. I'll go if Jamie and Madden want to. I think Madden now knows what they are and is like, why do I want to go? Why do I want to go plug my ears somewhere that fucking hurts? But it's plus we have a pretty fucking phenomenal show right outside our house.
Yeah, we just have to go outside.
The whole neighborhood is like they're too into it where they're almost like they're like you'd pay to see their show or something, but they really go after with the fireworks. I don't necessarily think it's fun to light fireworks in my own yard. I'll do it to somebody else who's not expecting it, but that's always fun because then you run away laughing. It's a good time. I recommend it, but so we're doing a show for the 4th of July. So I guess we'll get back to you as far as how that goes.
Yeah, we got a show on the 4th and on the 6th. So we have 2 shows.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we got 2 of them. And you're coming from? You were at a roast battle tonight, right?
Yeah, we're at the roast battle at the Wise Guys. The 1-year anniversary of the roast battle.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Was that fun?
It was interesting. Roast battle is always a mixed bag because some people are prepared and some people very much are not.
It's just weird to me. I think it's I'm almost like I don't know. Maybe I'm envious. I don't know if I'm envious or just it's disappointing to me that like this sort of thing wasn't. You never even heard about this when I was coming up like early on in comedy when I was just a few years there when I first moved to LA or none of that like roast battles like that wasn't even a thing and it was it's funny to me now that like that sort of thing becomes popular at a time where you really can't make fun of anybody anymore. It's like that's what's so hard about it. Is like when you used to be because back in my day, but back in like in the the aughts. The early 2000s,
back in Dickety,
even
back in Dickety because the Kaiser stole the word 20.
Yeah, right. And Dickety, but they, back in those days, like it was. You could, making fun of a dude's just manhood, sexuality, weight. Your face. You're just everything about you. It was pretty much fair game. You could just clown the fuck out of somebody. You could say retarded back then. You could. And it's like these things were like the type of thing that like if you're in a roast battle, it's like the gloves are supposed to be up. In general, comedy is supposed to be a thing that it's all about honesty. It's all about that moment where we all come together and it's like let's just really vent about real shit. And we're at a time where it's like. People ain't having that right now. It's like you really have to measure every fucking word, and it's like I don't know, like how well that would go. I don't know. I just to me it just seems like you have almost at least one hand tied behind your back, if not both.
Oh yeah, even a couple guys tonight tried to do some racist jokes, and like they were both kind of hacky. I'll say it was already hacky to start with, right? But they did not land with the audience. Like at all,
and that's the thing. It's like, I don't think. Well, here's the thing. Like when you say anything that is, whether it's racist, sexist, any of those sort of things, like it's always been that. Like, look, you're running the risk of, you could do really well with it if it's funny. If it's not, you're Kramer from Seinfeld. Right? That's where it's like you are basically trying to be edgy, and you're really pushing the limits, and you're pushing the envelope. And it's like the payoff could be great if it's funny, and at least 10, 15, and 20 years ago when you rolled those dice, there was the odds of a significant payoff. I think the odds of any payoff now by getting that sort of edgy, it's fucking slim, man. I mean, it really is. People are fucking just uptight, and I really hope that there is a point where we get to where that bubble bursts, and people are just like back to like, I'm sick of this fucking politeness and political correctness and all this shit, and not. I think as we talked earlier, not just Republicans either. Okay, I don't want to construe it as like the people who are making these jokes with actual hate in their heart, because that's fucking bullshit.
That's another level.
That's ridiculous. No, like if I just want to go back to a simpler time when I could call you a fag and it wouldn't be a big deal. Okay, and then nobody would think I meant anything other than you suck. And it's like we're not at that place anymore, and I understand why, of course, because it's just but I just think that it's funny that like we're in a place now where roast battles are such a common thing in the world of comedy, especially when you're in that first 10 years of comedy, when you're doing a lot of stuff like that to sort of prove yourself and to grow as a comic. And it's like, man, if we'd have done it back when I was coming up, it could have been really funny. I mean, I don't know.
On the flip side, the dude that is champion and retained his champion as the roast master today is a man who wears a sequined outfit, and he is fabulous. And
and Seth does the show with us at Kindles, and he's a funny dude,
phenomenal.
Man. He's a funny dude.
I don't think anybody can beat him, to be honest. He's so good right now.
And that's the thing, yeah, that would be tough, because it's like, do you like how I know Seth wouldn't give a shit.
No,
like if you pushed it on him,
not at all. He
like
would laugh.
You could I don't think from the times I've talked to him and I've seen his comedy and everything, Seth's got a great sense of humor, and I think if he would understand the situation, if you were going to clown him for wearing a sequined gown or dress or pants or dressing like Joan Rivers,
he'd
basically.
Say you should see the other one.
I think he would have no problem with that. It's just the audience in front of you who might, instead of laughing, ha ha ha, because we're at a comedy club, might go, that shit.
But that's what I'm saying. So how can he, so there's like a bunch of stuff that you could do to Seth that is off the table.
Right.
Period.
Right. And it's had nothing to do with Seth. It's just the audience.
It's just the audience.
And the thing is, I think most of the people in the audience, they're not that offended by it. They understand what what the arena is. They understand what the situation is. Mm-hmm. So I think most people really they're not that worried, or they're not offended by it. But the thing is I think they think that maybe they should be, or maybe the person next to them is possibly offended, so they everybody gets really tight, fucking uptight, man. Mm-hmm. And I'm all for I would never want anybody to feel alienated or fucking I'm a person who's like live and let live. I have no problem with how anybody else lives their life or what they do, and the problem is not everybody thinks that way, and they've kind of fucking ruined things like just talking shit. You can't talk shit as well as you could before, and that sucks. So
no, I hang out with a lot of comedians, and we say so much shit in that Discord chat that we could never say on stage or even in public or whatever.
And I'm not saying,
but we're comics in a safe space, having a good time, riffing on stuff, doing that shit. But it is kind of sad that, like, oh my god, that's so funny, I can never tell anybody that.
Right.
It's
right.
Like,
yeah.
It's like,
that's... It really, and I mean, it was the same way with it, and not that it would have been, all the shit that we would talk to each other, playing fucking like video games and stuff like that together, whether it was like just me and a buddy, or like when you were like all doing a gig somewhere, like when we go to La Jolla or something like that, and somebody meaning me, I would take the Nintendo with me or some shit, and it's like I mean, it wasn't like back then, you know, all the uninhibited shit talk that we said back then was like, oh yeah, let me take that up on stage in front of a mixed crowd. No, not at all. That's ridiculous. But still, it just seemed to be like, yeah, there was a point where we went past the point of where, you know, pushing that envelope for the sake of comedy. You know, we went past it, and we got to the point where now people are
they've shut that envelope tight. Now
everybody got fucking really sensitive. So
really sensitive and tight.
Hopefully it comes back around, and but you know, for now, shit ain't funny.
But it was definitely a fun time. It was like, you know, nice little good crowd. Like I said, it's been going for a year, so that's good for any show that, you know, has longevity and that keeps going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice. I've been a judge on it a couple times. I'm supposed to judge it again next month, so it's fun. I don't do roast myself because it's always fat jokes. Always fat jokes.
Right.
Like nobody can ever write another joke about me that's not a fat joke. That's why.
See, that seems to be one where, you know, like, I guess.
Yeah, what about the fat?
Well, I guess you don't. I mean, there are quite a you know, because I never heard the term like body shaming or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like 15, 20 years ago, you never heard that. So, I mean, and you know, I've you know, anybody who's watched my comedy career knows that, you know, I've grown into a fat guy over the course of that time. I started comedy skinny, and I was like, no, I changed my perspective. Like, no, let me instead. Yeah, like I used to do it. Like
I used to have abs, Cap. Well, I used to have abs. You could see,
dude. One of my first like money like best bits that I did back at, like in my early stages of comedy was I did a bit about yard sales. I would do, like, we'd have a yard sale every summer at my house, and my mom would make, you know, us fucking help out with it and everything, and I always hated, you know, the people shopping at the yard sale, because people shopping at yard sales, like, you know, like I'd always be like, whatever we're selling is here. We don't have a fucking stock room.
Yes.
Like, there's no, you know, you can't just go get this in another size, or like, and that's what, yeah, like,
well, this is a great show. You having a large?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. I mean, and I had bits that were like, you know, about basically like people looking through my clothes, and like fat people looking through my clothes and be like, you know, you have to go back and look at my sets, but I remember, I think what the, you know, somebody was like, you know, like, do you have this in a bigger size? Or, well, now I do it. Yeah, now I've changed it. Do you have this in a bigger size? Yeah, I'm wearing it. Fuck off. And but it's like, but I just remember like, yeah, people looking through my clothes, and you know, I think my bit was like, you know, yeah, I'm selling those shorts because they don't fit me anymore. You know, it's like, and the whole, and see how quiet we just got. And I mean, but I mean, like the whole thing was like, I was from a perspective of like, I'm this little skinny squirrely dude, and some fat person is looking through my old clothes at the yard sale, and it's like, now I've completely changed perspective where it's like, yeah, no, I'm as fat as you, but I need to wear those clothes. So yeah, I need my 4X shirt. So now fuck off. Yeah.
Do you have this in a smaller size? Just wash it a bunch. It'll shrink.
Yeah. Let me go throw it in the dryer. Fuck off.
But yeah, that's why I never, because like I said, I've done a couple in my, it's always fat jokes, and I'm just like, guys, like, we talk, write something better.
Yeah.
Right? And then my
well, they're not
like,
gonna. I mean,
can you write something
that
overcomes a fat joke? And I'm like, yeah, that's every joke I do, because I know they're doing fat jokes. Like, but it's just, you know, it's like...
What? But that's just it. I mean,
but then I turn around and
are you that offended
jokes,
by it,
though? No, but it's just, it's always just the lowest common denominator. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds like you're offended by it. I mean, a little bit.
I just don't, but that's just, it's boring.
Of course, I mean, look, it is, but the thing is, I mean, the cool thing about it is you know what's coming.
Well, yeah, because then I always counter with, I got a better fat joke. So
right,
it's like, you know, so it's, I mean, I said, I don't say I'm bad at them, I just like doing them.
Yeah, I don't know, I just think about the way we would come back at stuff like, you know, all that stuff, you know, whether it's talking shit on your mom, or, you know, we even spilled over to like, you know, dad fucked your dad or something, like, you know, shit like that was, you know, it like where we just, it was just like whatever taboo you could get to, and that's what makes it really funny. Is like when you really mine the pits of just depravity and fucking, just go too far with everything, and that's the key to it. And it's like, you really gotta just reel it back in now, man.
That's the aristocrats.
Yeah.
That is that joke.
Yeah.
That joke cannot be done today.
Right.
Cannot. Nobody does it. And even then, if you try to do it, people are like, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? An agent and having sex with a dog and all this, it's like you can't even, it's like they even had a biography. Did you see the biography on that where all the different people telling their aristocrats joke?
I remember there was a documentary.
Yeah, documentary. That's right, the documentary. It was a documentary on that where they had Gilbert Godfrey and Saget and everybody told that, and I'm just like, You ask this. There's an entire generation that you say anything about that joke, they have no clue.
I really don't even know how the joke goes. I know that it's one that like people tell and make it dirty or whatever, depending on who they are.
The crux is the dude is pitching an act to a talent agency. Mm-hmm. That's the crux, and then you make that dude and his whole pitch the most vile, horrible thing, and he brings out the wife, and she's
and then it's called the aristocrats at the end. That's what it is.
Okay, he listens, he watches the act, and they say, "Well, what do you call this act?" And they're like, "The aristocrats," and that's like the joke.
Yeah,
and it's like you can't do that joke at all today.
Yeah, I don't think you could do that joke though when that movie came out either. So it's just, and it's not that, it's just, I don't know, for some reason you can just see that coming. That has to be at a point when, because I mean, I know that. Because there's a lot of times, like, I thought about this as a comic that we sort of take for granted that, like, because from the time I started comedy, I would go on stage and, I would just sort of take it for granted that, I'm in a public venue and there's all these strangers here, but I'm just going to get up here and say every cuss word that I know, that I'm going to talk about, my balls and taking a shit and all this just really, really personal stuff, tasteless things, and I was able to, like, when I started comedy in the late 90s, I just figured, well, I can do that. I'm allowed to do it because I can. And the thing is because I grew up watching people like, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Eddie Murphy, guys like that who were doing it, when I was a kid. So it's like, well, Dice. Those guys were allowed to do it, and that, Sam Kinison, those guys did it, so it was okay to do. And the thing is there were a lot of people who took the bullet for the rest of us. Richard Pryor himself, he got arrested, in certain cities that he
more
went
than
to.
once.
Lenny Bruce, I mean, it ruined his whole fucking life and career.
Yeah.
Basically, like, he had to, he was basically, the pioneer who's basically forging a path for the rest of us, that we could come on and talk whatever shit that we could on stage, and he got arrested. He had court cases. They basically just tormented and ruined that guy so that, basically the rest of us could, stand on his shoulders and do what we do now, which is, go out and talk shit and cuss and
tell dick jokes,
all kinds of shit like that in front of a crowd. And it's like, but I mean, I think the aristocrats joke thing, I think that might have been at least funny or shocking or whatever at a time when, really before Lenny Bruce, when just the idea of going on stage and getting that
so
vile
vulgar.
in front of an audience was just so unheard of and unthought of. And it's always funny to me to think, like, how, things like that have evolved where like, past generations, things were, they were so prim and proper and, couldn't be offended. But, in reality, they did some of the most horrible things that, imaginable. I mean, just the institutionalized racism and the fucking just the horrible sexism and everything, just like the things that were such, common everyday life.
Facts of life, yeah.
To people who would be so offended if you said fuck on stage, but when it's like they do some of the most filthy, dirty, nasty things when they're, when they leave that place. But I'm off topic. But, it's crazy to me though that, like, we're at this place now and something like roast battles has become such a phenomenon in the comedy world. Because
I remember when roasts were, it was just a Friars Club thing.
Yeah,
or it was
yeah.
like Dean Martin. Because I
Yeah,
love those
I
Dean
think,
Martin
there's
celebrity
those
roasts.
videos. Yeah,
I watched.
Yeah,
I think I have watched all of those.
yeah.
Because
yeah.
when I was a teenager or whatever, like I watched them shits on VHS.
Did you ever see the Richard Pryor? Like there was that they released that DVD set like about 20 years ago of like Richard Pryor had like a short-lived sitcom, I think on ABC or something like that, and the last episode of the show they decided to do a roast. You know, it was him, Sandra Bernhard, Paul Mooney.
God, yeah, young Sandra Bernhard. Too.
Yeah,
I remember that.
there was Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like these people were all, and I remember like, I mean, I think like Paul Mooney tried to write a lot of the jokes for everybody. Like from what I hear, you know, because I have the DVD somewhere like that. I've actually watched it several times, but you know, like where they, you know, they tried to do some hacky sort of roast jokes that, you know, they probably fucked up Paul's bits or whatever, but I don't know. But anyway, but then Richard got up there at the podium and just, you could tell he was fucking high or drunk or probably both. And he just let it rip on everybody. And he was just bitingly honest and fucking, I mean, like, when he points out Paul Mooney and says, "Oh, he thinks he's got it on me because he was there when I fucked my first FA something." Yeah. So and like I mean, I'm in my own house too, and I won't say that, but I mean, but like, you know, he got so just honest, and he crushed it. Like, you know, everybody was so blown away because you could tell. They felt like the rest of that episode was sort of, you know, artificial, and they were just going through the motions. And then he got up there and like really let it rip. Now, obviously, the episode never aired; it was on the DVD set. But it's just so it's crazy how things evolve to the point where they do, and the way the timing works, and just how things like in the particular era, certain things are acceptable and they're not. You know.
No, I know the vibes.
Yeah, it's thanks for wrapping that up for me. Because I didn't know where I was going with that, but there was something.
Yes.
Anyway,
but no, it's just like I said, it's just the roast is more of a modern construct, and I think it really is. I mean, it was Jeff Ross that kind of invented this whole roast thing.
Jeff Ross really,
because he's the last existing friar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is there a Friars Club even anymore?
I think there is.
But who's in it?
But I don't know.
There's not a new generation of comedians becoming friars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
Jeff Ross. I mean, yeah, he was the guy who stuck out on those early ones on Comedy Central so much. He was the guy. I mean, still to this day, you know, I remember it was whose roast was it? It wasn't the Drew Carey one. It was one of the early ones. I remember him saying, I remember just us falling the fuck out. Like, it was me. My two roommates at the time, it was early on in my time in LA, and he said, what did he say? Sandra Bernhard. He said, Sandra Bernhard, I wouldn't fuck her with B. Arthur's dick. Like, and then they proved the camera, there's B. Arthur. It was just so
and she's
funny.
like, yep.
And she's like, and it was hilarious. And it's like, that's what made it so fucking legendary, what made people want to, you know, watch more of it, you know. But it's funny because that phenomenon coincided with the PC phenomenon.
Because even those later roasts, the later roasts suck.
Do they? I haven't watched one in years.
Like the Hugh Hefner one, or like the ones that were like towards the later end when they were doing the roast.
Right. Yeah. See,
it was just like, ugh, what is this? Like, what is this? You know, circle jerk of the same 5 people over and over again at these roasts.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, and it is getting more, because it was a Comedy Store thing forever. I remember seeing the roast at the Comedy Store, and like, you know, it was always a thing.
See, when I was there, if they had them when I was still there, I never participated.
You weren't there on the nights.
I mean, I know like Moses. I know he was like involved with the ones on Comedy Central later. I think he was like. I mean, I remember him from when he started working there, like at the box office, the cover booth. So I mean, you know, like, but I don't know if they had him there. Like I basically lived there from 99 to 20 2017. And so, yeah, it's, I don't know.
No, it was about 2018 they started doing those roasts.
Okay, so, yeah, that's why.
I was right in that
'cause I was
zone,
like,
yeah.
when did they have those when I was there? Yeah.
But it was like a thing for a lot of young comics, you know, to kind of get and show their thing in front of some of
Right.
they had the veterans as judges, and they had a lot of other comics that would do like side skits and stuff in between. That's where I think Jeremiah Watkins kind of cut his teeth, and Jamal Neighbors, he was one of those dudes there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just roast. It's just kind of become a thing in comedy, and now it's kind of spreading out where it's like, oh, this is kind of it's almost like a tool people have to have in their bag now to do comedy. It's like, okay, you roast.
Yeah.
Because all the roasts are looking for people. I mean, that Skankfest, that's why they got so many local Vegas guys, because nobody wanted to do the naked roast. And just a lot of people don't have that skill.
It might sound funny for a minute, but I mean, after you sit there for 5 minutes and like, it's like, all right, I'm done with your nipples, sir. And
Nipples
like,
at best.
I can't imagine.
Nipples at best.
I don't want to fucking, that's just not
like,
funny.
I'm friends with TC. I have seen too much of TC.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, Evan Connolly, who's on with us, I've seen too much of Evan Connolly. All right?
Oh, man.
I should not know that man only has one ball.
Yeah, I don't want
right?
you.
I should not have seen his prosthetic ball.
Why,
I should not have seen that.
Yeah.
And not one prosthetic ball joke in the whole roast. I'm like, guys, you're burying the lead here. The man's got a fake nut. Like, what are we doing?
Shut up, fat boy.
Got him.
Yeah, man. Yeah. See, I wrote that actually yesterday.
I was holding on to it.
Shut up, fat boy.
I got to bed at like 2 or 3 in the morning. But yeah, like I said, that just kind of a good week. Just getting we launched a podcast last week. Killing Crickets is out now, so getting good feedback on that.
Very cool.
And like I did, so it was Robin's birthday this week, so we went to the Bacchanal buffet at Caesars. I didn't know I could get drunk on crab, Cap. I got drunk on crab. Like, it's all you can eat crab brunch.
You mean you just were
I ate so much crab. I was like, oh my God.
I've done that at a buffet. You know, it's like, I remember my first trip to Vegas we came here for spring break, and when I was in college, it was 97 actually. It was before I started comedy. I remember we went to this buffet down on it was at the Franklin. It starts with an F. There's a hotel.
The Frontier.
No, it's Old Vegas. You know, the old strip down to the under the all the lights. Yeah. You know that either way.
Four Queens?
Fillmore, something like that.
Yes.
Something like that.
I don't know if it's there anymore.
They had a buffet, and we went to the buffet. I remember, it was a contest between me and the price. So it was just, I had to exceed whatever I spent to get, and I just kept going back to the seafood, because they had islands set up, and I just kept going back to the seafood island, because you can eat shellfish for a long time before, you actually feel full.
Yep.
Now, I'm gonna have plenty of diarrhea breaks in the middle, but that's to be expected. I mean, especially if I'm on a date. But I mean, I just remember at one point it was like Rocky V, because my buddy Dan was trying to encourage me to eat more fucking crab legs and fucking shrimp, and he's like, "Come on, you can do more." And I'm like, "Yo, buffet, I hear no bell."
How much do you think that buffet costs, Cap? How much do you think that buffet costs?
Man, at the time, I probably thought it cost a lot more than it does. So I don't know. I mean, I know it was.
It was probably over $10.
Probably $20. $20 for the buffet.
Because they had seafood on it.
Yeah. And I felt like at the time, I was like, oh, I ate at least $500 worth of shrimp. And I didn't. We know.
How much do you think the buffet I went to was at the Bacchanal?
The one you went to?
Yeah.
When was this?
Saturday.
Week?
Sunday. Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday. So okay. So it was what? What? $30, $40,
$70 a person.
$70. Okay.
And we did the cheap thing, because at 1:00 starts the crab buffet. So before that is the cheaper brunch buffet. So we went to the cheaper brunch buffet for $70, and we got there at 12:30, and then sat there till 1, and then ate at 1:00. So we went the cheap way. But
Damn.
if you actually pay for the crab buffet, $95 a person.
Jesus. And
Yeah.
see, I'm not even I haven't gone to a too many buffet. I haven't gone to a buffet in a while. Like,
Well, the
'cause I'm really
pandemic
not-
killed most of
I'm
them.
not a real like, as much as you would think, like, by looking at me. I'm not real like a big all at one sitting guy. I've done it, like I said, I've done it before where I'm trying to compete with the price of the buffet and I'm trying to exceed that, but for the most part, I don't like that. Like, we went to this one at South Point when I used to perform there, and it was really nice. It was like, it was a few $100s for me and Jamie to eat there, and it was like, where they brought out the cart and the courses.
Yep.
And after a while, I'm like, man, I was good with, I'm good with a steak or whatever I got.
I was good 3 entrees ago.
That's a meal. All right, now now I'm done. Can I go? Like, I don't even like dessert. I'll eat the fuck out of some ice cream later, when I get home. But I'm not really I don't like a whole bunch of courses and a whole bunch of food at once. But that's I don't have all those pockets and stuff because I'm gonna need to. I gotta be.
This buffet, it had everything, man. It had the whole Chinese section. They had whole ducks. You get like a full duck. They had whole pig you can get.
Why would you need anything else after a duck?
Like I said, it's just that one section.
If you ate a
then
duck,
there was ramen.
You're
done.
Yes. Get in the car.
Then there was tacos. There was a lady making fresh tacos there, and there was a dude making omelets.
Yeah,
and they had
it's just
4 kinds of eggs Benedict, and it was just so many things to choose from. But it was like, man, and then the meat carving station, tri-tip, prime rib, they had a brisket. Then they had 7 kinds of sausage. Then they had turkey, whole chicken, there was so many meats you could get, and then ham, cap it all off for all those ham boys. So it was, it was, and then seafood. Then you hit the seafood.
I can't imagine the smell in that men's room.
It's
just fucking.
There's a men's room attached to the buffet. Full-time attendant. Full-time. That guy never left the whole time. I went in there to use the bathroom. Full-time attendant. He was just constantly cleaning.
Yeah. Well, you would need to have a guy, and that, and I'm sure those employees don't last long either.
No, dude.
So I'm sure there's a lot of turnover there. Yeah, that's a rough one. But I need to, especially if I'm gonna gorge myself too much. I'd rather be home. I'd always rather be home anyway.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna eat, eat a whole lot, I need to feel comfortable knowing, I need to go spray it for a minute and then I'll come back, So
I'm not gonna lie to you, Cap. I took that break in the middle of that food lunch. I went to that bathroom and took that break. So it'd be happening.
That guy quit his job.
I was like, sorry, bro. Sorry about that. But you knew what this was.
He's sitting there with a toilet brush.
But man, there was 30, 40 people waiting in line for that crab when it came out, and there was just just the old Asian lady had 4 plates high that she was carrying back to the table and shit.
Jesus.
Man, people get crazy.
You guys
on
are
that
eating
crab.
like the fucking Skeksis.
Oh, so totally. And it was and the whole there was all the other seafood and nobody was taking any because everybody was just on the fresh hot crab. There was just all the other stone crab, all that stuff. I was but no. So we got our plates. We waited till the line died down. I'm not gonna wait. And it was so when the line there was nobody waiting. So we got our plates and my girl, man, gotta love her. She just sat there for 25 minutes and just de-crabbed all of it. We had 2 giant plates, and she just made this giant pile of crab. So we was just straight. She did all the work. Yes, she did all the work. So we
Jamie
just
always has to do that for me.
So we just had a fat pile of crab at the end, and
I don't like having to wrestle my food. Man.
But it took so long, and we were kind of full by because we'd been at the buffet for an hour and a half of our 2-hour time limit. And Robin's fuck, there's $40-$50 worth of crab here. And I'm he was yeah, but there's food left and I don't want to eat it. I've become everything I've always hated. So she went and got, because she only had a little tiny purse too. She's I should have brought the big purse. So she went and got a couple of cups from
crab in?
She filled that shit up with crab and took it home. And when we got it home, it was a full giant Ziploc bag full of crab. And she made the most bomb-ass crab dip later that day off that crab. But it was just she had to wrap that crab up.
Just after this conversation, I don't want to eat crab for a while. You just made a dip at a purse crab, and
Yep.
and you're okay with that
Yep.
after you had too much crab before that. Like
Yep.
keep you and your crabs away from me. I don't
Fat
wanna
guy
fucking
problems.
hear it. Jesus Christ.
I just love, because I was fine to leave it, but she's like, no, I worked too hard on this crab. And so she packed it up. She packed it up in these cups and wrapped it up in like a plastic thing and put napkins on it and shoved it in her little tiny purse. And I had to carry her wallet and shit because she could put it in her purse. I'm like, that purse was supposed to be for cookies. We were supposed to take cookies from this buffet.
Jesus.
Because I love those buffet cookies. You know, always soft. But no, it's But man, we were like, I still have not eaten. Like I haven't eaten today.
No,
like I said, I'm still full from
yeah.
yesterday. Like it was
I
too
won't
much
either for a while.
No, it's just too much.
It's just the purse crab. Just
Well,
that's something I don't want to think about. And well, anyway, this has been Blatherrhea. And, Jesus Christ.
Oh, but it's just always so funny because you always go have these giant meals on your birthday or whatever, and it's just like, then it's like, all right, you ready for some sexy time? And it's like, no, I'm gonna lay down here for the rest of the day.
Oh, now you're adding sex to your fucking crab stink?
No.
You know what? I think this has been an episode.
You can't stack.
You
can't stack crab on top of that, or that on top of crab.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But it's like you do it at
Who would even consider the crab sex?
But you do it after every
terrible
meal. It doesn't matter. You go to Morton's, have that huge steak dinner, and then come home, and it's like, you're ready for sex? It's like, no, we're at nap time. It's just, but that's every, my birthday, go have a big meal, then come home for sex. No, that's never.
That's not reality.
That never works.
No.
That never works ever. Oh, well.
Are we looking at stories? What are we doing?
Yes. Are you ready for this? So this brings us to our first story this week from the UPI. I'm gonna put it on the screen. FAA clears California company's flying car for takeoff. It is official. Flying cars be existing, and you can own one for the grand total of $300,000.
That's actually, I don't know if that's cheaper than I thought, or not. I mean,
honestly, I feel like it feels reasonable. Planes are expensive.
I've never really, this has always been sort of the thing that people have talked about as like, sort of our Jetsons future, where, we're going to get to the point where, cars are going to fly instead of being on the road. And, I'm all for the idea, because I feel like that by the time my daughter's driving, which is, 8 years now, that like all cars are going to, like, they're going to be self-driving. Like, all the new cars are going to be self-driving, and which I'm all for. I think that's a good idea. If we can automate them to the point where it's like,
where I can just get in the car and sit.
No worries, no wrecks. But man, you've seen how people still fuck up all the time driving cars on the ground. Okay.
Yep.
They're people aren't good at paying attention, whether they're, any of that shit, like following traffic rules, not drinking and fucking driving. I mean, so the idea of you're going to allow just the average consumer to now fly, I don't see how that's ever going to be a
viable,
feasible reality.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever going to really work.
No.
I mean, because driving's one thing. It's like, okay, try not to run into anything, but like when you now add the fact that you're how many fucking 1,000 feet in the air, because I mean, how high do you fly in that car? Like, does it go up? I'm sure
it honestly doesn't
30,000.
It honestly does not say.
A jet, but does it go? Because does it fly low like old planes used to? Because isn't that kind of rough?
I mean, it just kind of I think it just kind of gets.
I mean, because it
up above building height, I guess, kind of like.
That's just sounds dangerous.
As fuck, man. It's called the Model A, which I think is funny because it's like, what are we, back to the olden days? We're going
that's
Henry Ford stuff. But it's
Jesus Christ.
I mean, dude, a car is already a multi-ton death vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you want to have that multi-ton vehicle falling from the sky?
Because now instead of just being out on the the idea of like, okay, you're home safe, now you're good. Not with people not with drunk asses fucking now flying home from the bar and potentially crashing into the second story of your house.
Correct.
That's fucked up. I don't see how that's. I mean, because it's obviously like they've I mean, it says the FAA cleared it.
Yeah.
Like because what kind of license would you have to have?
Pilots?
You have to have a pilot's license to
Do I got to go get 100 hours to fly a car?
Because that's
I mean, this thing screams for auto driving. I mean, obviously, you don't. Autopilot would be much more safe for this fucking thing.
Yeah, but still, wouldn't you still have to? I mean, don't even like the pilots who fly. Do they still have to land, right? I mean, they still have to know how to land.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Where am I supposed to land? Just go in a random road and hope that nobody.
I hope that never
gets in the way of my flying car.
I hope that price never goes down. Anyway, so
oh god, dude, could you imagine if flying car is the price of like a Hyundai? Like, and everybody's got a flying car.
Although, look, I've always wished that I could, become ridiculously rich enough to have my own helicopter. Like what's his face? Like Wolf of Wall Street guy. Like Jordan Belfort. Yeah. Like just have a fucking. Just so I could just show up everywhere in a fucking helicopter.
Yeah.
Like get invited to oh, you come to my graduation party or whatever, and just fucking show up with your fucking helicopter blowing fucking shit everywhere. Just like every time Cap shows up, it's fucking the yard's a mess. There's fucking
Cap was here, huh?
He stopped. He needed to go to Walmart for something. So
he just stopped.
So now a bunch of shit blew away because he had to go out for groceries. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, they started working on this after Back to the Future. They said Back to the Future 2 was the inspiration for this car. Was that we could be at this kind of a time where everybody's in their flying cars, flying around, and all this stuff. And I'm just like,
it's
man,
a fucking horrible idea. I mean, because
I mean, have you already seen some of like those personal helicopters? The ones that are like a one-seater where it's like basically a ring of like drone blades, and it's like almost like you're flying a drone.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
really?
That's the new fucking rich person thing right now. Is those single-person helicopters? They look like you remember those
It's only been 3 years since Kobe Bryant.
You remember the toddlers?
Right? I mean,
like when those toddlers had those
something you fuck around with, people.
It was like a car, like you drove as a toddler, like a big orange car. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like a Fisher Price thing, where it was like a giant car a toddler would drive.
Oh, you mean like the Little Tykes one? The one that looked like a smart car, basically. Yeah.
It's like that with propellers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yes. So it's like you get in one of those with propellers, and it fucking takes you up.
It's almost like a tub toy.
Yeah.
The little
only you're going to fly it around your city, and you don't need a license for that because it's technically a drone. So it's like.
Well, is it though?
That's what it's classified as. I mean, it's just like I said. The people are skirting a lot of these laws by doing like this kind of stuff, and it's just like the more people do it, it's just going to get dangerous. It's like you said. Now I have to worry about a drive-by or like a hit and run in my bedroom. Like second-story drive-by, fool! Break yourself!
Break yourself, fool!
And be like, God, this drug game must be good. They can afford flying cars in here out these streets.
Exactly. Like, and I mean, if you could afford it, why wouldn't you?
But look at it. Look at that silver monstrosity.
I mean,
like really.
Dude.
I'm not saying it looks like a Zeppelin, but I'm saying
it just seems like fucking
We're gonna have a the humanity moment. Is all I'm saying at these.
Because it seems like they've engineering over time has always tried to combine the passenger car with the aqua car thing, because I mean that was years ago.
That was the 80s.
Wasn't just a James Bond thing.
No.
That was before the 80s. They did the aqua car.
No, that was like 70s.
Yeah, that was even before. That might have been the 60s actually.
They got that car on display here in town.
Yeah,
you can see that
they
car.
actually made those. And I mean I can't imagine considering how most of the cars at that time how the seals and things like that dried up and fucked. Like I couldn't imagine it lasting very long, but they've always tried to combine the automobile with a boat or with, and it's just it never goes.
It never works.
It's a bad idea.
No, it never works.
Look, I think we should just try to improve on automobile travel. Like I said, self-driving cars. I think it's a good idea. I'm
flying
all for
cars.
It.
Oh,
because I think just the idea of I think once self-driving cars take over, it's gonna be crazy to think like how like I think radio is. I mean, it's on its last legs anyway, but it's done. And just the idea of any sort of listening only medium, it could become really obsolete. At that point, because it's like, now that people don't have to pay attention to the road.
You just watch TV.
Yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can, your attention is now taken away, so it's like, I don't know.
You don't need just audio only. Yeah. No,
so
100%.
But yeah, I like that idea.
It's too much.
I don't want, a 16-year-old taking a flying test. That's a bad
crashing
idea.
them into each other and then falling down onto the cars below, and it's just like,
think about all those people who are stupid enough to let their fucking gas tank run out. All the people
run out of gas.
All the people won't charge their fucking phone.
Yeah.
That drives me fucking nuts. People don't charge their shit. And just the idea that I'm leaving the house. I mean, Jamie does it. There's where she'll look at the thing on the fuel gauge and say, "What? I have 27 miles left." I'm like, why would you keep going? There's only 27 miles left on it. Like, that's not, that means 27 optimal miles. Like, it doesn't, if you speed at all, or if you hit a stoplight and have to start over in first gear again.
Or you sit in traffic.
So you're going to tell me that everybody's going to gas up their fucking helicopter or whatever and just keep on top of that and not just crash into the fucking building or land on top of people. Like, that's just a bad idea. Don't be fucking stupid. That's
be
ridiculous.
stupid.
And thank you, FAA, for putting a stamp of approval on that.
So this brought to you by the first flying car accident. Right. So let's transition to a bit of a different story, Cap. This is from Yahoo News. I'll put it on the screen here.
Well, that's Yahoo's still a thing.
First of all, I was going to say, I didn't know Yahoo News.
I still have that mail, but
I do still have a Yahoo mail.
It's crazy.
And it has 50,000 unread messages.
I get a warning every few years saying we're going to delete your mail. So then I have to log back into it. But yeah.
But so Mexican mayor weds a reptile and couldn't be happier.
For real? What is this a charity thing or is it?
All right, so it is an ancient ritual, which anytime you're starting with ancient ritual, you're going to be like, oh, this is stupid then. Yes, so this is an ancient ritual done for prosperity and luck or whatever, where basically you marry a reptile and this reptile's like a celebrity. And they literally take it around and to every single person's house in the village, and you have to hold the reptile and dance with it for luck. So everybody in the family holds the reptile and dances with it, and then they do the thing, and then at the end of everybody hugging and dancing the reptile, somebody marries it.
This is why I wouldn't trust anybody to fly a fucking car, okay? Because people are still stupid enough. Because if you look at the picture there, he's not by himself.
Nope.
Okay? There are people. Not only did he marry a fucking crocodile, apparently.
It's a caiman, yes. It's a smaller crocodile.
It's a fucking crocodile, all right? When it gets bigger, it'll be a crocodile. Anyway, he married a crocodile, and other people showed, he sent out invitations.
Not the entire town.
I am marrying a crocodile. Yeah, and also people voted for him, which that's good. If he gets made mayor again, there's really something wrong here. But I mean, the fact that he married a crocodile and people came to the wedding, and this is what I'm doing on Saturday. Is I'm gonna go watch a grown man marry a fucking crocodile, and they're gonna leave that at that's what. Yeah. So what do you want to do after this? Nothing. There's no reason to do anything after that because you just watched the mayor marry a fucking crocodile, and you're gonna be okay with that? Really? You're gonna go watch the mayor fucking marry a crocodile, get in your fucking now legal aircraft and fly away, and everybody's just gonna be fine, right? But as long as we don't hurt anybody's feelings. and we don't say anything that it's going to be as long as we don't exercise our right to free speech, it's everything's going to be fine. Which I don't know if they have that in Mexico, but I'm sure they do. I think every place else has it too. It's just we just act like it's a big deal here. But it's.
Now, do you want to?
It's really. The joke tells itself because there's really nothing more you can say about. But
you want to know what's better than that? They have been doing this where someone marries a crocodile in this town every year for 230 years.
You're adults. Really, nobody steps up and says, hey, hold on. This is fucking stupid. All right, let's just, because you could call I'm all for people getting together and people, just have a party, have a whole, but the fact that you're having a grown man marry a fucking crocodile, and everybody's just gonna be okay with that? It's a custom. No, it needs to stop. Okay, it needs to stop now because that's not okay.
The alligator wears a green skirt, a colorful headband, embroidered tunic, and a headdress of ribbons.
So you made the crocodile the girl. Obviously,
yes. For sure.
For
sure. Yes.
It's
always the bride. It's always the bride
on the crocodile.
The croc is always the bride.
Imagine what the crocodile's thinking. I'm a fucking crocodile. Stop. Why am I here? What are all these people doing to me? And this, I know it looks like I'm smiling, but that's just my mouth. Okay? I'm not actually smiling. This is fucking awful, and I really can't wait to eat all of you motherfuckers.
Yes.
Because this is some bullshit.
This goes back to, indigenous tribes times. It's I think we can let this one go.
This goes back to, you know how, obviously, since the advent of the internet, okay? And how now with people sharing more information on a constant basis and where you're able to research things, people are, they're I think that's part of the reason why people have gotten so hypersensitive, of course, and why a lot of our, a lot of ugly things have been on display too with that. But the good thing is people started to share information more with each other and started to really just come into a collective understanding of just, we evolve from that. Mm-hmm. People share information and because it gets shared quicker because we could contact people from all around the globe now, we grow as a human species, as a culture, as an earth. And 200 and some years ago, when there was no TV, there probably wasn't even fucking newspapers there, whatever.
Nope.
And if there were, nobody could read them. So the idea of we have this marry a crocodile ceremony because we live in this town that if you live in that town, nobody else from another town is really going to know anything about what's going on. So the fact that somebody might be passing through there, Clint Eastwood might be riding through there on a horse, and comes across this weird little quaint town that they marry a fucking lizard, and he's the only person who knows about it. So who cares? But once television was around and people, you started to if you could watch TV in this town and go, wow, I don't see anybody on any of these shows marrying a fucking crocodile. So that seems like it might not be normal. Maybe we shouldn't do that anymore because that's fucking weird. And then you have, the internet comes along and again, more looking around here. Nobody's married a crocodile here either. Wow. It seems like that might be odd. And maybe this isn't something we should keep doing. But, there are just some traditions that maybe you just need to let go. Still have the party. You can still have the get-together every year. Everybody gets together, but...
Put up an alligator statue.
Yeah,
something like that,
And I don't want to know how far this goes, okay? Because I've already had to hear about your fucking crab dip. So I don't want to fucking... I don't want to know how
deep.
I don't know where the honeymoon went to. I don't know where.
Yes.
I don't know how far it goes.
You notice it's always the bride.
Because
That's
the
all
thing
I'm saying.
is okay. So what did you say? 270
230 years.
230 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So what? In the year 1800-ish, a little before this. So 1793. It still seems like that would have been too late in the game for them to think that was normal. I mean, then again, we're in America with powdered wigs still, right?
Yep.
With fucking wooden teeth.
Yep.
So hey, who are we to judge? Fine, but it's okay. So in 1793, when they started doing the marry a crocodile or marry a lizard ritual, I still like again, I don't see how nobody in 1793, anybody, of course not a woman, because they weren't allowed to say anything.
No, they weren't allowed to speak, yeah.
Let's just say of all the people at this get-together in 1793, I have to think there was at least one person there that went, this is fucking stupid, right? We need to stop this. Like this is this guy.
This was the ceremony. The first one was the ceremony for these two tribes to quit fighting.
That's why they did it.
Yeah, for prosperity and for these two Mexican tribes to quit fighting and killing each other. Somebody's going to marry this ceremonial lizard, and that's the whole thing for prosperity and all that
so
stuff.
they got together. A collective group of adults got together and decided this was the best way to patch things up.
Yes.
I think you should have kept fighting. Really. I think you just.
I don't think that these people shouldn't have made it until
one group is left, and then there's no no marrying a crocodile.
Yeah, because you got to figure in that time, they had to consummate the marriage.
I think that at this point, it's been 230 years. I think you're safe at this point from. You're not gonna go back to fighting at this point because nobody even remembers why it was fighting. Like there's no reason to go back to it. So you could still have your peace party every year, get together. Hey, how are you? You could trade headbands like the Crips and Bloods did in '92. Fine, but the fact that there's still a part in there where you're marrying a fucking crocodile. Yeah, because is he married otherwise?
No.
Like, does he have a wife?
Does he have a real wife? I thought
he has a wife. Like, is this a? I mean, because if he's really marrying the crocodile, isn't this a bigamy sort of situation? I mean, granted, that's not the worst thing that it could come out of this. I mean, you have two wives. Like that's. I think the fact that one of them's a crocodile is the bigger problem. But of course, I don't. Is his other wife
It doesn't actually
Chupacabra?
say.
I don't know. So it's
It doesn't say. It doesn't. He's got a wife now.
That's the mystery that we're looking for now.
I mean, it's almost got. At this point, it has to be like a touristy thing. Like come out and watch somebody marry the lizard. Like it's like the Great Cayman Marriage Festival or whatever or some shit. But it's just, I mean, like I said, that looks like a happy man right there kissing an alligator.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Look how happy everybody is behind him, though. They're all like, "Yeah."
I know, right? Yeah, they're still. I mean, yeah, this is okay because I mean, I know they. I mean, obviously there was a camera crew there. The story made it to Yahoo News.
Yeah.
So I mean, still. Okay, so imagine this is 2001.
Yeah, I know. This originated the AFP, American Foreign Press. So yeah, this was a covered international story.
It got out enough that they made it down there to cover it, and I don't. I want everybody.
Are you looking at the bearded dragon a little different now, Cap?
No, all right. Me and Rexy are cool. All right, it's
not like that, yo. Okay. It's not like that.
I'll feed her some bugs or whatever, and then I move on.
Clean that shit stink.
It's still
It's just
marrying.
We're in the year 2023.
Because is it always a caiman or a crocodile?
Yeah,
or
always.
Is it just a different reptile?
Nope, always.
So it's always a caiman.
Always a caiman. Yeah. Different dude marries every year. It's not the mayor every year. It's a different person every year. So, then what? Do you got to keep it in your yard? Does it go to the zoo?
The
ceremonial caiman hangs out at the zoo.
can you divorce the fucking crocodile? I don't know.
Oh, you're definitely cheating.
I think we've wrung this one out.
Yes,
so
it's been wrung.
I think
it's been wrong. He couldn't be happier. Just know he couldn't be happier, Cap. Yeah. Oh, guys, it's been
have we reached that point?
It's been a hell of a week between crab and flying cars,
fucking purse crab, flying cars, and fucking marrying crocodiles. I think I want to conclude this episode by saying I'm sorry. I really am. I don't. This is. Yeah, I don't know what this world's coming to, and I don't endorse it. So that's where I'm at with it.
He does not endorse purse crab, nor does he endorse flying cars or marrying reptiles, which I get behind. I'm behind not marrying reptiles. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm glad we came together on that.
Even the purse crab, I was not a fan of the purse crab.
With the purse crab, yeah. I think we
but when your girl makes you something, you say, "Thank you, baby. That was good." Like so.
Oh, you're still at that point? Yeah.
It'd be like that.
We just ordered
it'd be like that.
Tonight. That's how we do. So, yeah.
All right. Well, Cap, like I said, we already talked about our upcoming shows. We're at Kimmel's this week here.
Yep. We'll be at Kimmel's this week. I'm coming to Zany's in Rosemont. Yep. Chicago, coming back. What is it? July
14, 15, 16, yep.
July 14th, 15th, and 16th. Come on down. I can't wait to go back there. I'll be at, where else? Arlington Draft House. I'll be there. That's
8485?
Arlington, Virginia, right? Yeah. I've been there before, actually. So, yeah, it'll be cool to come back. So,
yeah, that's a good one, too. That's new on the list.
August 4th,
August 4th and 5th.
Yep, I'll be there.
And then late August, you're in Cuyahoga Falls.
Oh, yeah. First place I ever did comedy. Mm-hmm. So, yep, I'll be back there. Headlining at the end of August, right? Or
yeah,
end of August,
yeah. Even from last week to this week, there's some more shows on here. So, man, you busy. Busy out here. Louisville here in September.
Yeah.
Man.
Got a few.
But check it all out on johncaparulo.com. You can follow me on brianshinanigan.com. You can check out our other podcast, Killing Crickets, which is going strong. I don't even call it a podcast. It's our stand-up showcase show. It is not a podcast.
It's a stand-up. You get to... Killing Crickets is basically we shoot it down at Wise Guys here in Vegas, where it's during their open mic night basically, and it's we go down, we do sets ourselves, and then we interview a few comics who also did some sets. We show clips from on stage, and then we talk about it off stage, and it's kind of cool. So check it out.
You get a lot of the on stage and backstage, like we say. It's like you get a lot of the inside baseball of comedy, and comedy is work, and we trying to showcase the work and showing you how we do the work, and trying to raise up other comics that we think are doing good and doing the work. So
yeah, man, yeah.
Check that out. Other than that, we're here every week. Like, subscribe. The internet works. And we'll see you next week. Right, Cap?
Yeah, we're out. Gone. Peace.